Hey there. This is attempt number 2 at doing this video. So bizarre. It's been like that. Today is November 25th, 2024, and I'm on Zuma Beach today. At this moment anyway, I just got here to shoot this thing. I just came from the hospital. Everything is looking good. They took a look at the wound and they were amazed. It's been 16 days since the operation, and I took my first shower last night. That's why I've been staying by myself. But they say in 2 weeks I should be able to get into the water. So my overall system is really good. We can tell because it's healing pretty well. So the next medical procedure is December 11th. There'll be a colonoscopy to look at the former surgical site from the inside, or both of them actually, and hopefully we'll be past the problem where the colon had started to try to close up when the ostomy bag was in place. So that's where, we're getting past that. That's what's upcoming. But other than that, the plan for me for the next 2 weeks is to continue to be as still as possible, to give this hole in my side an opportunity. So it's been a very challenging couple of weeks. It's been very uncomfortable at times. A fair amount of whatever. I feel like it's heading in the right direction, and it's. These things are to be expected, as they say. But, in the middle of all that, you've got other weird, aside from what's going on in the world. My windshield was broken. I just got that fixed today, replaced today, thanks to a good friend that donated to my GoFundMe. Last week, when I was trying to deal with this awful hemorrhoid situation, I went to the store to get some hemorrhoid medicine, and it turns out, if you've ever heard these urban legends about mice chewing on not just your wires but your hoses, that's a real thing, because when I got to the store, there was all this fuel leaking and from a pressure hose that a mouse had been nibbling on. And that, luckily the repair was all done in one day, but it wiped out every last penny of whatever was left in the GoFundMe. And but the folks at the Sprinter experts over in Sun Valley, totally hooked me up. They even waited for me to get there at like 7 at night to fix it. Only, it's a 15-minute project, but it's if you know what you're doing, you know. I mean, something like that would take me a couple of days to get right. But it's fixed. We're all, you know, a little maybe down on the finances, but at least, you know, the van's working, the windshield's right. You know, I'm in the middle of these things. You know, I'm in the middle of, you know, just trying to take care of myself, and the big problem right now is regulating, getting my intestines to work right, which means regulating the amount of food, the types of food, the how much I eat, and how, you know, spaced things are out. I mean, it's literally like having a new intestines and trying to figure out, like a baby, you know, like how does it work, you know? The rectal area, your rectum is kind of a collection area for your fecal matter, and that has been diminished. So now it's like, as soon as I start to feel like I've got to poop, I've got to really get there, you know. But I'm happy to say that you know, solid poop and solid stools, and that I can see, I'm no longer, you know, there's no blood in the stool, which is a hallelujah. You know, I'm at the point where I'm starting to be able to deal with the psychological aspects of this, and sometimes they can be very overwhelming. They just kind of start flooding in, you know. Like the other day, I've had a lot of problems with needles, and needles going wrong, needles blowing up my veins and stuff, and especially when I was on the chemo. It's just the thing that happens. It makes the blood vessels weak. And the other day, I just started. It's like I could feel all the needles that have been, you know, plugged into me in both arms. So you know that you've been through an ordeal. You know, I've been through this ordeal. But there's some things that are just so friggin' weird. Like when I was in this last operation, they had me. I was awake when I went into the surgery, the operating room, and they had me scoot onto the table, and the table has these arms that spread out like a cross, you know. And when I woke up, I had IVs in both hands, and this hole in my side, and it was like, what is this, Christ-like or something? You know, it's just so, in case you were, you know, weren't sure if you were going through something, David, here's so now I have this messianic zeal to save the world and whatnot. Speaking of the world, and how it relates to what I'm going through, I understand that, you know, the world has taken a turn since 3 days before my operation with the election. And I don't think many of us expected to be where we are right now. And as it was, you know, became apparent what was happening, I started to feel this kind of a deja vu of what I went through back in 2000 and 2004 with the Bush elections, and then of course in 2015 with the first Trump election, and the whole administration. You know, that I don't know that we were all aware of it until 2020, when we, you know, when Biden became the president, and we didn't have to, like, there was a part of our lives we didn't have to worry about anymore, you know. We didn't have to listen to the news expecting to hear the latest ridiculous calamity of self-inflicted calamity from the Trump administration. And that night of the election, I started to feel this feeling again, and I was like, I know this feeling. This is too familiar, you know. But there's a difference for me personally. One thing that's happened through these 3 cancer stories, and especially everything I've been through with this latest one that's passed this whole year, you know, December 14th will be a year that since I started treatment, you know, with the installation of that PICC line in my right arm, that ended up being in there for 5 months, and you know, everything I didn't want to have happen actually happened. You know, having to do the PICC line and having to do the radiation and then having to do the operation and then having to do have a colonoscopy bag for however long, almost 4 months. But one of the things that dealing with all of that taught me is that out of sheer self-preservation, I can't do, I believe it's called cortisol anymore. I can't all those the fear hormones or whatever, anxiety, fear and anxiety and stuff that we generate ourselves, when we, that fight or flight thing. I can't do it anymore. I found, especially in the first weeks of dealing with the chemotherapy, that I had to unplug from anything and anyone that triggered cortisol for me, and so I developed these techniques to just keep a positive, creative focus in my central to my life, and that's how I basically made it through all of this. And so here I am at the end of my, the therapies and everything, and this, huge political thing happens for the whole world. And being as sensitive as I am, I feel it. It's very challenging not to dream about it. It's very challenging when I'm in that bardo state between wake and sleep. I feel everybody's distress, and I've got to just straight up. I can't live in fear anymore, no matter what the friggin' cause is. And so my strategies are to continue to live my life as creatively and as inspiringly as I possibly can. Which isn't, that's not a Pollyanna. I'm not paying attention. Unfortunately, I'm paying all too much attention to the pains and ills of the world. That's one of the reasons why all this happened. So I know that what I can contribute is my work. I just published this week. I published this work that I've been working on for the past month and a half or so. These recordings that I made back in October, and then this painting that I did in November, and then I put it together in this video called "Why I'm Alive?" ? And the answer to why I'm alive is to be able to do this work at this time, because in my universe, the one that I choose to create here, the 8 billion souls incarnate on this planet right now agreed to be here together as a soul group to experience what is this cosmic event that we're in the midst of. And when I say this cosmic event, I'm not just talking about the fact that there's 8 billion people incarnate, souls incarnate on the planet right now for the first time in well over, 10,000 years. But there is a cosmic event that all while I've been going through what I've been going through the past 4 years, I've been documenting this cosmic event. And over the past year, I've been working on how do I tell the world about it? How do I tell people about what's happened? Because I'm sure that there's probably maybe less than 5 people on the planet that know what it is that I'm talking about. And it has to do with all the ley line surveys that I'd been doing over the past 5 years, studying the Earth's subtle energy field and its expansion, its documented expansion. And so what I've been trying to do is create vehicles that will help me explain and articulate what this cosmic event is, because I think once I can do that, people will understand, have a better context for where we are right now, both politically, economically, as a species, and where we are going, because that is also what I have been given to understand is where this is all leading. And little heads up, it's leading in a good direction, and the best direction that you could imagine. And so I've been given a vision of what's to come over the next 10 to 12,000 years. And I know that most of us have a hard time understanding what's going to happen for the rest of the day, never mind looking ahead to tomorrow or next week or next month or next year or the next decade. But the universe has its own plans, and you're given to understand what you're given to understand, and your job is to basically do what you can to understand what you've been given to understand by the universe. So that's my job, and I gleefully accept it, because that's why I chose to be born, and I recognize that, and that everybody that's here right now is here by agreement. Nobody's here by mistake. Life isn't just happening to us. We chose to be here for this moment. And so no matter what it looks like on the surface, down the road and around the corner, and for the seventh generation, things are heading in the best direction as far as I'm concerned. Which isn't to say that what's going on politically doesn't suck royally, but the universe, the source of the universe, the source of all that is, I trust it knows what it's doing. And the best thing about what's happened politically, as I said in the last video, is that everybody knows where it hurts. Everybody knows where our body politics is in need of healing. All the people that voted for fascism, you don't vote for fascism unless you're in pain. And instilling fascism is a way of spreading out the pain. When you're caught in the illusion of lack, of there not being enough, and you use that as a excuse to hurt other people, it's delusional. It only appeals to people that are in pain. But that said, there's a certain percentage of the population of the world, of the 8 billion, that have agreed to hold these frequencies of fear. And there is a larger percentage of people, I should say, enough of a percentage of people who have agreed to incarnate here at this time to dispel these frequencies of fear. And the way that happens is these frequencies of fear are brought to the surface, and they couldn't be more apparent at this very moment. We know who all the players are and what their motivations are and everything. You know, when you look at what's going on geopolitically, you just have to ask yourself who's the beneficiary of what's transpiring. You know, who's winning? Or who thinks that who's trying to win? You know, who thinks that they're winning? The thing is that, you know, fascism and the problem with fascism and communism and isms and despots and dictators and all that sort of stuff is that they're unsustainable. As I said, there's 8 billion people on the planet. No one is here by mistake. The universe, created a world that can support 8 billion people, at least. And however many people it wants to have on this planet, it will, we will find a way to make that a reality when it's necessary. But right now we're just dealing with the 8 billion. And I feel really blessed right at this moment, because I feel that I am alive. This is what I came to Earth for. This is what I came to life for this moment. And as I said in the last video, it's game time. You know, all those folks that like to think of themselves as shamans, as what do you call them, star seeds and light workers and all that, and those folks that don't even need any of those titles. You know, this is of the density of the planet at this moment. And the reason why I say, over the next 10,000 years things are only going to get better is because the density that we occupy right now is going to lessen and lessen and lessen over the next 10,000 years. And the experience of a weaker, less dense field, the human experience of less dense energy fields can be euphoric. And so imagine that happening and just getting less and less dense over a longer and longer period. You may not even notice the change, but I have a feeling. I mean, we're seeing how fast the changes are coming, and so well, anyway, that's what I wanted to I've been wanting to share. I'll let it go for now. I hope everybody has a great holiday. I'm not sure what I'm doing other than my usual treating every day like my rebirth day. And to say I dodged a bullet would be an understatement. I would say a barrage, actually. It's as I said, it's what it's November, and if I hadn't done this operation, I wouldn't have made it till Halloween. So I am so grateful to have made it through all of the suffering that I've been undergoing. It's taught me a lot about us, and it's given me so much compassion for the people around me that I don't know that I necessarily saw before. Today, while I was in the waiting room at the hospital, I saw this family come in, and they have an adult mentally challenged person that they've been taking care of, obviously, since that person was a baby. And just, this is a person whose body doesn't work completely right and can have outbursts and whatnot. the patience that this couple dealt with this person is just like, wow. You know, I'm grateful that the mission I have is what I have instead of that mission, because it's you know, it's people working with one another, for one another, right? As souls, agreeing to incarnate to help one another work out something, you know. So in a way, I feel like I aspire to helping the whole, you know, this whole earthly experiment, you know. So anyway, gonna let it go. We'll take another quick look around, maybe. Yeah. This is California in November. Zuma Beach. And my new windshield. Yeah. So thanks again for watching. Thanks to everyone that contributed to my GoFundMe campaign last year, because almost every penny of that went either into my stomach or into keeping this my one-person cancer ward running. And yeah, $11,000 has gone to